late 90s, skateboarding comes back, and in Vengeance, you're kind of responsible for it. The X Games show up, and you do a 900, which in the skating world was the equivalent, I guess, of Babe Ruth's 60 home runs, Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak, so on and so forth.
Yeah, depending on what kind of skating you do. But for me, it was something that I had been chasing for, I mean, I had been trying it for almost 5 years prior to that. I've had it in my head for almost 10 years before that. And so when I finally did it, you know, it was like, it was just this huge relief. And the fact that it was at the X Games, I hadn't even thought about that. I hadn't thought about that impact or that it would get viewed that hugely. I mean, in prior years to that, when I would learn a new trick, I was doing it in some empty warehouse on a ramp, you know, and maybe getting it on video. And it was like, maybe the word spread through the skate industry. Like, hey, Tony Hawk did 720. And that was about the most you could hope for and get a picture in a magazine. And then when I did it at the X Games, it was like all of a sudden people were stopping me on the street. You know, it was on Sports Center. It was, it seemed unreal that people had understood it even. Because there was.
So you're gonna, I understand, do a demonstration here of a 900.
Yeah, maybe if we do these
build a ramp or something, you know, get them up a little bit.
Jacked up a little bit, sure.
So that was kind of the beginning of the new empire, and I use the word empire because these little things called video games, which might catch on someday. We've got your two newest ones, Tony Hawk's Project 8 and Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam. You have sold $1 billion of video games. That is insane, my friend. I take you get a little slice of that. Just my guess.
I can't complain.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess you do. My guess would be.
But the funny thing about that is that there had been a few games in the past that included skateboarding or maybe featured skateboarding. Never really took off or never became franchised. When we set out to do our first one, it was literally that same year that I did the 900. I was just happy to make a game that represented skating well.
I never take very seriously the ambassador of skating. I mean, you really, that keeps coming up for you.
It's not really a title that I took on myself.
But it's what you feel.
But I really thought that we made a game that would inspire skaters to buy a game system and play it because they appreciated how real it was. I had no idea that it would become this video game icon or this genre, and I didn't think we'd ever get to do a sequel, to be honest. You know, and now we're on our 8th game and even our 9th game with Downhill Jam. That's for the Wii system, but
you were telling me before the break on the Wii system, which is basically this is Nintendo, and you get to.
Yeah, well, the controller is motion sensor, and so in our game you actually turn, you lean to make your guy turn, and in other games they have, you know, like where you're playing tennis and it's your racket, or it's your, you know, it's your bowling ball, and it's pretty amazing how interactive it is. Truly, you know, people talk about interactivity, but this one you're immersed in the game.
This year coming up, the Tony Hawk Empire Expands. My good buddy Dan Snyder, Six Flags. We have the Tony Hawk theme ride, actually.
Yeah, we're gonna do a roller coaster.
How does that come? Give me an example. Does your agent come to you? How does it? Because obviously, all kinds of opportunities. Take me back the evolution of how it comes to be that in the spring or summer of this year we got the Tony Hawk Six Flags.
Well, it actually all started with our Boom Boom Huck Jam tour, which is the tour that features skateboarding, motocross, and BMX, and we have this ramp system that's really elaborate where guys are jumping over the big half pipe while we're all doing, you know, triples and quadruples flying over it. It's really our sports as entertainment. It's not a competition. Six Flags saw that we had been doing that, and they said, hey, we want to bring that to our parks. So last summer we did our first tour of Six Flags where we actually brought our tour into the parks, and people didn't have to pay extra admission or an extra fee once they got in. It was included in the admission to Six Flags. We went to, I believe, 8 different Six Flags across the country. We're doing it again this summer, but Six Flags said, hey, we really like this concept. We love the action sports genre. We want to theme a roller coaster with you and with your tour and with these sports. And so that's how it came about.
It's amazing. Tony Hawk, congratulations.
All right, well, thanks.
Great to see you, man. We got more big idea. Don't go anywhere.